Welcome back to Man vs. Meeple, the show where we talk about all things board game related. Today we're here with a brand new company. This is called Panda Games. They've got an awesome logo and they got a very cool looking game. This one is called The Cult of Barnacle Bay. It's a mouthful. Heath, Jonathan, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
So this is a cooperative game.
Yes.
And it's your first game in the industry, right?
Yes.
But you both have you've worked in the industry before. You're new to the board game industry.
Ish?
Yeah, new-ish. I've been working on the wargaming side probably a little bit longer, but just starting in the past year and a half or so, getting into more board games and board game art, which has been pretty exciting.
And you're an artist.
Yes.
And you did all of this, the graphic design and the art itself.
Yes, I did. It has been a epic adventure, I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
This is my first foray into doing everything myself for this game, and it has been fun and unbelievably educational.
Well, it looks really good. I have to say, we come across a lot of things where either the art's really good and the graphic design suffers, or vice versa. And am I wrong? Most people don't do both of those things, do they?
Typically, it kind of in the creative field, most people specialize into one field or another. I'm a graphic designer. I'm an illustrator. I'm a concept artist. I'm a production artist. I've discovered in the process of us working on this game together that you can't make those selections. You have to just, put on your big boy pants and do as much as humanly possible.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah. And luckily, it's paid off. I've had a lot of reference material I've been looking from. I knew I had a core concept of what I wanted a lot of this stuff to look like, and luckily, with working with Jonathan, a lot of good heavy input from him. This is what we produced. I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, it looks good.
And you?
Yeah, I'm
what's
Jonathan.
your background?
Jonathan Phillips Bradford. I am the game designer. Had game design for the game. For 5.5 years, I was with Cool Mini or Not. Started there with head of video production.
Okay.
My previous career before getting into gaming was all video production and marketing related. And when I first started Cool Mini, there was only 10 of us in the office. So I quickly became very in love with the board game industry and seeing the design process from beginning to end. When there was only so many people working in the office, we all kind of had to pitch in on give our input and see everything getting done.
Sort of the development side of it as
yes.
well. Yeah.
So there was, whenever they would working on a new game, they would almost have me look at it because David Dowser realized, he was like, Jonathan plays a lot of games. He's kind of our target audience. Let's see what he thinks. And it just helped me learn so much almost through osmosis. Seeing what the do's or don'ts are. Why, when they created this rule, they got rid of it because I saw the issues that they saw. And I learned by working with these people.
Right.
And, and after leaving Cool Mini, started my own video production company. I've been doing Kickstarter trailers and animation for several of the game companies, Ninja Division, USAopoly, Cryptozoic.
We're seeing a lot more of that, too, in the industry, which is great.
Yeah.
I mean, they're starting to add these video game elements into the board games by making cool trailers for all the games now. I love that kind of stuff.
And that's where I got my career. And then after that, we've now started, I'm still doing the video stuff, but it's been going well, and I've been wanting always to try my own game.
Yeah.
Cool. Before we get into the game, I got to ask you about this logo. I love this Barnacle guy. Where did this come from?
Okay, so he started with, last year he started Wander, just a small Kickstarter for 5 hero miniatures to see how it would do.
Okay.
That was under the name Red Panda Miniatures.
Yep.
Okay.
My video production company is Eldritch Studios.
Okay.
So we took Eldritch Studios plus Red Panda and made Panda Cultists.
I love the logo. Did you draw this too?
Yeah. It's actually funny. I designed
Fantastic
the logo for my company, and then I designed the logo for his company as a favor. And then when we decided to make the company together, I was like, all right, well, let's just keep this rolling.
Very cool.
Let's talk about Wander.
So this is Wander, the Cult of Barnacle Bay. Barnacle Bay was a once peaceful fisherman's village until it got taken over by the evil Elder Bane. He's and his deep cult. He's used his dark magic to corrupt the inhabitants of the city. So our once peaceful otter fishermen have become crab crazed with crab arms. The loyal bear guards have turned into the berserking bear sharks, one of my favorites. The monks from the local church have become tentacle bunny zealots, and the bat cultists following Elder Bane have become Batfish casters.
Okay.
Wow.
We are playing heroes from the Wanderers Guild in this co-op dungeon crawl, working together against the AI trying to save Barnacle Bay.
So it is a co-op, and each player is going to represent one of the 5 different base characters in the game. Now, each of these characters has their own player board, and it's cool about it, from what we've seen when we played it, you have this track on the side that you gain experience throughout the scenario. But each of the characters has their own starting weapons. They all have their own unique abilities, and those can change from one scenario to the next. We talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, so each hero, right from the get-go, has 2 unique abilities that they choose from right at level 1. Right, you start the game, you start at level 1 with 0 experience. Every time you start fighting monsters, you're gaining experience over time. Once you get to level 2, you now have your level 2 ability, which is just +1 action, so there's no multiple choice that one. It increases the momentum of the game. But when you get to level 2, the difficulty of the game starts getting worse as well.
Okay.
So when you enter an encounter, you spawn the whole board, and that's the enemies for the encounter. So they're not constantly spawning. But once the first player gets to level 2, you've made enough noise and another spawn happens.
So it's taken care of by a card, I take
Yes.
it?
Yes.
So whenever you get to level 2, you reveal a spawn card.
Okay.
And you look at tier 2 for the difficulty, and it tells you what spawns.
I got you.
Oh, cool.
Okay. And those are all random how they come in
Yes.
as well.
So
Okay.
you never know what's going to happen. But each character has this whole almost experience tree, kind of like an MMO kind of feel.
Okay.
So you can choose more offensive, more defensive, and each character has a list of unique abilities that help them define their roles in the party.
Okay.
So you can have a mixed match of all these different heroes, and let's say Tank, who's normally really good defensive, he can also play super offensive, and then Roland, the warrior, can start going more defensive, depending how you want to play your party.
So items aren't restrictive to particular characters. They can be used by any of the characters. And do those carry over with you from scenario to scenario?
So the campaign in the game is when you defeat the scenario, your experience resets.
Okay.
So your abilities reset for your next scenario. But every item card you get carries over to the next mission.
Okay.
Which creates this choose your own campaign type campaign system we have.
Yeah.
So after you defeat this intro scenario, it actually splits off into multiple choices of which paths you want to take. So after one of those missions, there's 3 more choices, and it just splits apart, and then they come back together to fight these mini bosses in between.
Okay.
And you don't. So you can play the campaign, but you can also just jump in and play.
You can choose
a
any
scenario,
mission you
right?
want and pick one scenario, and then you just draw loot cards for that level of scenario. Say if you wanted to skip ahead 5 missions, you would draw 3 loot cards per mission you skipped,
Okay.
Sure.
as an average of how much loot you would generally gain per scenario.
Okay. So not being a one versus many game, it's a pure co-op. How is the AI and the enemies handled
Yeah.
within the game itself?
Okay, so each enemy, they have a movement and an attack stat on here.
Okay.
The level 1, all enemies move 1 space. When we have our initiative board, whenever it's an enemy's turn, they will move to the closest enemy or closest hero,
Okay.
and then they'll attack. And attacks are all automated, movement is automated. So if Tank was here, or Tank was even here, this Autogrunt will move 1 space and then attack closest hero.
Okay.
Which is clearly Tank in this point. So you'll automatically do 1 damage towards Tank, and the attack is all automated. You just have to roll your defense to make sure you're not getting hit.
And how do they level up? Is that done by what we saw previously with whatever level the highest hero is?
When you get to higher difficulties, you just have more difficult enemies spawning.
Gotcha.
So the grunts are all the same through all of tier 1 difficulty of the campaign.
Gotcha.
But as you get higher up, you'll be spawning more casters and bear brutes instead of grunts and archers.
Which are inherently harder
Yes. Right.
enemies. So to speak.
They have higher stats, harder to kill, do more damage.
Yeah.
That sort
Gotcha.
of thing. Another interesting thing is we have is our initiative board. Our initiative board is one of their unique experiences in the game. So at the beginning of an encounter, we shuffle all of our hero cards and initiative enemy cards.
Okay.
That shows the turn order of the upcoming encounter.
Completely random.
Yes, completely
Yeah,
shuffled.
so
at
it's
random.
not just around and around the table.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's instead of us just going in a circle and figuring out what's happening. It's the board kind of creates this chaos.
Okay.
It gives you these strategic choices you have to make of who's going to be up front. So you shuffle and you have these initiative bars, and then say Tank, he was lower down on the initiative. He could spend his whole turn to jump to the top of the initiative, because whenever a hero is at its highest in the initiative, is target priority for the enemies.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so adjusting the initiative board is a big part of the game, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Much bigger than I
absolutely.
think when we demoed it before.
We wanted to push that more, give more of a strategic element to the game, so that the choices you make had bonuses and negatives, kind of a risk-reward system. So we have stats on bonuses on each space. So we have +1 defense, +1 attack, and plus free movement.
Okay.
So whichever space you land on is the bonus you get, but it's also going to apply to the enemies and what spaces they're on.
So there's some strategy, obviously, in pushing your guy to the front in order to block for other characters because you get the defense, but you could also be maneuvering the enemies into areas where they
Right.
can get, they can move quicker to you, or they can attack
Yes.
harder against you.
So you see, like, this bear shark might be coming down. We're like, well, he's going to spot 2.
Yeah.
I don't want him to be doing 3 damage when he hits us, because bear sharks do a base of 2.
Yeah.
But if they're in that spot, they're going to be doing 3 damage a hit,
Right.
which is a lot at level 1, being some 4 health. Tank's got 5. Ibexus and Kira have 3, I believe.
Uh-huh.
So 3 damage can be a ton. So someone else can jump to the top of initiative and pushing everything down some more.
Yeah.
So then the bear shark will be getting extra movement, which is a little less threatening with an extra attack.
Sure.
Gotcha.
Now, speaking of damage, this game doesn't really have player elimination, right?
No.
So how do you handle that?
Yeah, I've always gotten tired of playing a big game, and we set it all up. One of our friends dies in turn 2.
Twiddles their thumbs for the rest
It's
of the
awful.
game.
Yeah,
you know, takes a break.
Yeah. It's like, all right, I'll see you guys in an hour. So we have this morale system. On the initiative boards, we have a morale, which is essentially a shared health pool. So whenever a character gets down, let's say this bear shark comes up, takes out Tank, he is now downed. His initiative card will jump to the bottom of the initiative, and when it comes back to Tank's turn, he's going to roll dice equal to the amount of heroes in his space, including himself, to help get back up. Once he gets back up, he's at half health, morale is now -1, and we get to keep going.
Yeah,
So trying to cluster together obviously is going to help the other players, but it could also hurt you if there's creatures like the bat that can do area effect damage.
Yes.
And
So
forth
there's
in the game.
a lot of choices to make. If you can group together for trying to stick together and help defend each other, but there's several scenarios where you're going to have to split apart to be able to handle something,
Right.
and get these 2 objective tokens.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of balancing. You got to try to make the right choices.
Talk a little bit about the scenarios themselves. When we played it, we played one of the games. It's really cool. It had a double-sided board, which allow you to go through different elevations within that particular scenario. Is that something that's going to continue throughout the scenarios?
Yes.
And campaign?
Yes. When we were first designing the game, one of the first things we wanted was to create a multi-leveled board game system.
Okay.
So I wanted that feel of a video game where you go below ground and go over, come back above ground, in different passages.
Got some Metroid going on there.
Yes, yes, this is exactly
just a little bit.
definitely inspired by that.
Okay.
So each scenario, you see there's above ground tiles and below ground tiles. All the tiles are double-sided. So this intro scenario right here, we have the heroes start above ground, and the end scenario is to get to this end token to find the cultist den of Barnacle Bay, just the first intro scenario. The problem is you cannot go from an above ground tile to a below ground tile. It just doesn't work that way. So you're going to have to kill all the bad guys and get to this ladder token. Once the encounter is defeated and you get to this ladder, you actually flip this tile over, going from this side to this side, and then your below ground tile will connect to other below ground tiles.
And I imagine that terrain will create different effects too, like poison and different things.
Yeah, so if you
in
look
each
at
of the
actually these
tiles.
dotted blue lines, underground has a lot more water spaces. Water
Okay.
decreases your movement.
Okay.
Normally you can move 2 spaces per action. Water you can only move 1 space per action. Which makes it pretty challenging when there's 2 archers at the under end of a tile,
That
and they're
trying to get
shooting
to.
at you every time you're trying to move towards them.
Yeah, it's a little painful.
And that will continue probably throughout all the campaigns.
Yes.
We'll see
Yes.
double-sided tiles, we'll see different kinds of terrain come up and so forth.
And these darkness tiles, all these black squares represents the darkness of Barnacle Bay, the Elder Bane shrouding it in darkness.
Unexplored areas.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a hero has to spend a turn and jump in, and he doesn't know if it's good or bad. So you've revealed this one, he would get a treasure card. Yay, treasure! And we have over 75 unique treasure items in the game, making
That's
each thing you find is something unique, and each thing is usable by everybody.
Okay.
So, like for example, if Tank, who's a big defensive warrior guy, he could pick up a fireball and launch it just like anybody else. Just Ibexus, for example, the wizard, is better at doing it. He has better odds of success.
But you
with
can
it.
only hold so much treasure, obviously.
Yes.
And can you trade it too?
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
There's 3 tiers of difficulty in the campaign.
Okay.
So at level 1, you have the level 1 loot deck with 25 items. You have a level 2 loot deck and a level 3 loot deck.
Okay.
So what are the other options if you say you don't uncover a treasure chest? What are some of the other things that darkness can
That is
bring
my
about?
favorite part of the game almost. A lot of times when you have those games you're playing over, especially with campaigns, we have what we call those water cooler moments. Where remember that one time this happened? And this was like my point to just drive those home.
Yeah.
So you can also explore the darkness. Like say Ibexus goes in here, he jumps it over, you find the event symbol. Every time you get an event symbol, you draw from the event deck. So we got the portal book. You discover an old dusty book written in a strange language, roll knowledge. Ibexus is actually the smarter one of the party. He's got intelligence of 4. So you roll 4 dice
Oh, nice.
and check his successes. He actually got 4 successes. It's really good.
He had an epiphany.
Yeah, so he did 2+. He understands the arcane runes. He now also gets to keep this card as a teleport spell for one-time use.
Very
Interesting.
cool.
But if you would have rolled poorly, and it was like Roland or Tank who were
Could
not
throw
to-
him into some awful place, I take
Yes,
it.
he could get sucked up and teleported over here for the spawn point, spawn more enemies on him, and it gets scary.
How many of these events are in the game? Or will be in the game?
There's over 50 events.
Okay.
So you can go through an entire campaign and never see the same event twice.
Because are they discarded once you use them?
Yeah, that's what we recommend. People
Okay.
can put them back, shuffle them every encounter if they want, but we
Okay.
recommend discarding and putting them back in the box.
So you
yeah.
see everything through the course of the game.
Oh yeah.
Obviously. This is going to be on Kickstarter.
Yes, September. Early September is our plan.
Okay.
We're going September 5th is what we're looking at, and we're super excited. We've got really need the Kickstarter funds for manufacturing, for mass
Okay.
production. We've got the sculpts ready, as you've seen. We've got a lot of the art ready. We just need to be able to get to mass production, and we'll be good to go.
Any cool stretch goals you want to talk about?
Oh yeah, you may have saw him earlier. We had Gunbjorn, the polar bear Scald, which is the first hero you get automatically Kickstarter exclusive right from the get-go.
Oh, cool.
If the Kickstarter goes well, we have a ton of heroes ready and available.
Okay.
Nice.
We also have plans for a add-on expansion, which we haven't talked a lot about, which is Lecluck's Revenge.
Lecluck's Revenge, an old reference to Secret of Monkey Island there?
Maybe. But Lecluck is a ghost pirate chicken lord with her drumstick peg leg,
Okay.
and her whole ghost pirate crew, which adds more tiles and a whole new list of enemies that add to Barnacle Bay with its own campaign system that mixes in with the original game.
Awesome.
So
Very
we'll have
cool.
ghost monkeys. We had monkey gunners, albatross banshees. We had rhino brutes with big cannons, and of course, ghost pirate Lecluck.
Yeah, just this whole concept of the hybrid creatures that you've created.
It's rife for expansion. You could do,
Well,
you can do
yeah,
it
it's
multiple
endless. You
different
can come
routes,
up with all sorts of different ones.
I was going
Yeah.
to say at this point we're not short of ideas. I think every time, because we've been going to conventions and showing the game off, every time we end up driving to one of these, we just sit there and go like, oh wait, I have no idea. What do you think about this?
What about Badger Sorcerer?
Did you see that dog walk by? Maybe we can make something out of him.
Yeah, exactly. And it gets us excited, and really there's no end to the ideas, the playable heroes, the possible expansions that we can do. The only thing limiting us is funding, which is why we're going to Kickstarter for this.
Yeah, as our new company, we need the Kickstarter to get to production.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Well, good. That's a good old-fashioned use of Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And we wish you guys the best of luck. This artwork, Heath, you've done a phenomenal
Yeah,
job.
thank you
Jonathan
so
with the
much.
design. This is a beautiful looking game. The sculpts, I wish you guys could see these things up front. They're meticulous. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
they're
very,
really
very
good
good. The
sculpts.
artwork, the graphic design. From a first-time company and a cool-looking logo. Make sure you guys check these guys out. If you guys have any questions about the game, make them in the comments below. I'll have these two guys troll the forums and answer them for you. Subscribe to us. That helps us out a ton. Follow us on Facebook, like us on Twitter, or vice versa. If I said that backwards, doesn't matter. Thanks, guys, for coming.
Thank you for
totally
having us.
appreciate you guys being here, and best of luck with the
thank
Kickstarter.
you.
Absolutely.
And we will catch you guys next time.
Tell
Bye-bye.
your friends.
This Kickstarter preview has been brought to you by Man vs. Meeple in sponsorship with Quartermaster Logistics. Take a look at all of their fulfillment solutions at qmlogistics.com.